Hey guys, I'm behind the camera again. It's been for ooh, let me not curse. I don't want to curse because I don't feel like censoring anything. The less editing I gotta do, the better. But I'm back behind the camera and it's been mad long. And I don't even got any excuse there for, I don't know, life just got tough. Like I'm finally in my house, which is the main reason I even want to film, because I just really wasn't in the headspace. I'm not gonna sit here and like give a rant because who really gives a f. The video I wanted to make, like I was saying, to come back in a way, is my makeup video, because I feel like that's really what's really been like requested from me, and I haven't put a video out like that. Like I just keep doing vlogs. I gotta do what people are asking me to do. So that being said, today I'm filming a makeup tutorial. I filmed one, but I didn't like it. Like I didn't like the quality, and I was like, I'm not gonna come back with a crappy video. But anywho, y'all know my makeup always comes out fire, and just gonna put some examples on there. Period. The first thing I'm gonna tell y'all, like before we even do any makeup period, is y'all gotta make sure that your skin is moisturized and you're taking care of it. I don't know why you think that you not taking care of your skin and then you think that your makeup's gonna come out smooth and bomb. It don't work like that. So make sure you moisturize. Alright, and yes, I am breaking out. I don't want to talk about it. It's like the only, like, this is like my acne prone area, so I don't want to talk about it. First thing I'm gonna get started on is my eyebrows. If you're somebody who likes their eyebrows to be like filled in and all of that, I don't think I'm really an eyebrow person. When it comes to my eyebrows, I don't do too much, only because I already have pretty thick brows. So if you're somebody who has thin brows and you want to, like, I don't know, make them like more full, then this eyebrow video is not for you. But anyway, first, obviously the first thing I want to do is I'm gonna brush out my eyebrows. What I'm using to do my eyebrows is the NYX Professional Makeup eyebrow pencil, and it's in the shade Espresso. So like I said, I don't fill in my brows like that. I think I just really go in wherever I feel like, if I have any gaps in my brows or anything. I don't go heavy in the front because you don't want your eyebrows to look like bricks. If I am gonna fill in my eyebrows, I do it more heavy towards the end, because I have thicker brows, but I also don't have a very strong tail, like eyebrow tail, if that makes sense. And then as you do that, you want to brush them out just to kind of like blur the lines, make sure that they're not as bold. I'll do the same for the other one. That's good enough for me personally. But the last thing I put on my eyebrows is eyebrow gel. I'm currently using this one by Benefit. It really keeps my brows in place. I do feel like it's underrated. I mean, yeah. And she's on her last breath, so yeah. And then I just brush up, brush them however I want them to stay in place. Same for the other one. It's not too heavy either, which I like. This is the part where I carve out my brows. Now, granted, anything that I use honestly varies. Like, sometimes I switch out my concealers, sometimes I don't. But for the sole purpose of this video, I'm gonna go with what I did for like prom and things like that, like what I usually do. So for my eyebrows, usually I use the LA Girl Pro Concealer, and this is in the shade Pure Beige. And I like to use this for my eyebrows only because it's not too heavy and it's not too thick. I don't like when my eyebrows look mad caked up, so yeah. And I'm using the mirror on my bronzer thing to really guide me. You want to grab a brush that looks like this. Sorry, you want to grab a brush. Ooh, got fuzz on my brush. You want to grab a brush that's like thin and flat like this, because it's gonna give you a more precise cut. Bitch, I'm cutting. I'm gonna get closer so y'all can see, because yeah. Ooh, we're up close and personal. Okay. Start going in right here. You just want to follow the line of your brow. This is honestly easier if you have your eyebrows done, because like freshly done, because it's like you kind of have a strict line to follow. There's times where I don't have my eyebrows done and I literally go over my hairs and I just, yeah, no. You want to put a good amount of concealer. You don't want to be too light, but you also don't want to be too harsh with it, because like I said, you don't want your eyebrow to be caked up. But yeah. Alright. And then you just want to make sure that it's straight and that it looks right. So that's my first eyebrow. I'm gonna do my next eyebrow off camera. So these are both of my eyebrows carved out, and I usually put like a little bit of concealer at the tail like this, just to define it a little bit, you know. I go over it with my foundation because my forehead is darker than the rest of my skin, which is why I like to go with foundation after to kind of even it out. But yeah. Alright, so now I'm gonna show you guys how I blend these lines. So what I first do is that I go in from right here at the tip, and then I just brush down just to get that line out the way, start getting a little bit blended. Alright, then I take my brush flat like this, and don't do it right at the line, because if you can see, you kind of have the line of concealer that's really defining your eyebrow, and then the other part, which is the blend. It's kind of like an ombre effect. And you're just gonna take your flat brush and you're gonna do right in that area, and you're just gonna glide your brush like that. And then if you'd like with a beauty blender, you can always blend down even more. But for me, I kind of just leave it like that, to be honest. The same to the other brow. For the top part of my brow, I take a mini beauty blender and I just blend it on the top. You can glide it, just try and blend that in while still keeping the shape. It looks a little white right now, but trust me, everything just comes together. Then you're gonna take the tip and you're just gonna go like that. Make it kind of like fade this way. And yeah. That is the first brow. And like I said before, I'm gonna finish the next eyebrow off camera. Alright, you guys, both eyebrows are done. So now we're gonna move on to our base. And I have concealer on my eyelashes. I really hate when that happens. Please try to be the most careful you can if you have eyelash extensions, because nothing is more annoying than getting cream makeup on your eyelashes. I promise you. Alright. Next thing you're gonna grab is your primer. Now, originally I used the one by Milk Makeup, the one that kind of looked like green. But I decided to give the e.l.f. Power Grip a chance, and honestly, it's an amazing dupe. I've been using this, like I've been trying it out for my makeup recently, and it's been working, and it's been holding on to my makeup. It lasts long, and overall it just really helps with my base. You want to make sure that you use a primer that is for your face and that is going to work with your skin. So I have dry skin, but then in my T-zone area, which is like my nose, really oily. So I really mostly use this for like my whole face. If you're somebody who is more on the oily side, I do recommend the Power Grip primer in the kind of pinkish reddish color. This one is meant for people who have more oily skin. So I'm just gonna throw those out there. Just make sure that whatever primer you're using works with your skin. Before I continue, I do want to say, if you are somebody who suffers from dark spots like discoloration and you deal with it more heavily, I do recommend that you mix your foundation with a green color corrector. It's not something that is really necessary, but if you're going out and or you have your birthday or an event and you really want your makeup to just be flawless, you want to mix this and your foundation together and then get a brush and put it on, because it's gonna help blur the dark spots. Because a lot of the times what will happen is that when you put on just your foundation, those dark spots or whatever you have underneath your skin is gonna come out, and you're still gonna kind of see it. So if this is just for an everyday makeup, of course, please by all means don't do the extra step, but I do recommend that if you do have an event, which it can be prom, anything, definitely go in with the color corrector. The next thing I do with my makeup is I like to put my foundation on. And if you're wondering, I use the NARS foundation in Cadiz, and I believe that this is the hydrating full coverage. I don't have the box anymore, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. So the way I blend out my foundation is that I go in with a brush. You can use any medium-sized brush, but I like to do this because I feel like it distributes out my foundation better. When you first go in with a beauty blender, I feel like the beauty blender really sucks up all the product, so you're not able to lather it as well as you can. Try not to get it under your eyes too much, because once you apply your concealer, you don't want it to be too thick under your eyes, because that's gonna lead to more creasing. And also make sure that you're blending down, so that you're blending it in with your neck, so that your neck and your face don't look like two different, like what's going on. Now my forehead. And like I was saying earlier, I kind of make up for the concealer shade by going over it like this. I just grab my brush, make sure that you're getting that foundation in all areas of your face. Really blend that in there. I do use a beauty blender once I finish brushing on my foundation, because this helps get rid of the streaks that the brush leaves when you blend it out. Now the next thing I do is I like to contour. Now, do y'all see my skin, bro? Like, this is the area where I apply like my my medicated cream, and you can literally see the circle. I'm sick. I use the Fenty Beauty contour stick in the shade Truffle. I have a round face, so I'm gonna contour going up. I'm not gonna go whoop. I like to just put my contour there, there, on my nose, and then also on my chin. Honestly, when you contour this way, I feel like it makes a big difference because you're kind of like, how do I put it? You're like giving yourself like a mini facelift. So I just blend with a brush, and I make sure to blend up because I don't want to give myself a doll effect, since I already have a round face and I have big cheeks. So I kind of like to blend up because it's kind of like snatching me up. I feel like Andrew Jolie in my dreams, but you know. I like to make sure I blend this contour really, really good, because if you can't tell, like when you put your foundation on, it kind of creates a line right here by like your hairline, and I don't want it to look like I have a mask of makeup on my face. I don't know, I'm just really picky. I like to blend out my nose contour with a small brush. Make sure you're really blending those lines and blend them down as well. And then make sure you're to the bottom. Like I said, you don't want any harsh lines. Once I'm done with my contour, I like to go in with a cream blush. I'm gonna be using this Cheeks Out cream blush by Fenty. However, the cream blushes that I was using for a really long time were the P. Louise ones. This one specifically, she's really dirty, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the one that's been with me. It's such a beautiful color if you want like that pink. I live by this, and they always have really good sales going on where you can get 3 of them for only 35 bucks. The only thing with these though is that they do take a long time to ship. I'm using the cream blush in the shade Riri. Now it really looks like a mauve, but when you put it on your face, it looks really beautiful. So I take a round brush that's more like thick or dense. I don't really know the exact word for it, but I just dip it into my cream blush. And just like I contoured up, I do the same thing for my blush. When you put your blush here, it gives you more of a doll look. I'm not gonna go too heavy with the blush because a big issue that I was seeing with the way I used to do my blush before was that I was putting way too much blush on and it just looked really bad. Y'all see how pretty the color is? Like, it's not too harsh, but it really looks really beautiful, especially on women of color with my type of tones. Even if you're even for darker shades, like this is just a really nice color that's not too pink and not gonna look like you're like a cherry. And don't worry if your blush looks too harsh right now, because once you go in with your concealer, it's really gonna even all of that out. It's gonna even out right here. It's just gonna make it look more blended. And now the moment that we've all been waiting for, concealer time. 2 main ones that I use for my full faces, and it's this NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Ginger. Put this in my inner corner to give me a lighter eye, and then the Too Faced Born This Way Multi Sculpting Concealer in the shade Warm Sand. That's more of a true match. These two together just give me a perfect under eye. I even sometimes put it in places I want to lighten, like my chin, my forehead. And I mix them both up in every area. Like this. So I'll put the lighter one in my eye in the inner corner, and then I'll put the other one literally right next to it. Like this. Now, I blend every other part that I put concealer on first, because the first thing to really crease when you do your makeup is your concealer. Creasing, it was sadly something that can't always be avoided. There's many things you can do to make it better, but it's always just going to be something that comes with doing makeup, mostly with under your eyes, because of how the lines go under your eyes. But what helps is that when you're blending, you want to blend and look up and stretch your skin out, so you can get the concealer in every part of your under eye and not just like in between each of the lines, if that makes sense. So when I blend under my eye, but we're gonna start blending, and when I blend under my eye, I like to start here and like make my way up, kind of create that line. Okay. Right now. You know, I want to create like that line, and you want to go and conceal. This is what helps blend out the line of your blush as well. And you want to look just like this when you do it, okay? Trust me. A trick I recently learned is that when you go in with your powder, you want to use a brush and kind of blend it in so it really gets in there, and then you want to blend it with a powder puff. So you're gonna take a really loose, like a loose powder brush. You're gonna do the same thing with like your face and your mouth. And you're just gonna dab that in there really good. Then you can grab a powder puff and dip it into your powder and then press it in. Just like so. You can pat in your powder to where you put in your concealers with your powder puff as well, and go just like this. To kind of bounce off of my nose contour, I take again the LA Pro concealer, and I like to just put it. Main reason I like using the LA Pro concealer for my nose is because of the applicator. It's honestly perfect for putting it in the contour areas of your nose, like the tip of your nose. So I just do this, like, sorry, it's really hard trying to look at y'all and then trying to look at the mirror to make sure I'm doing this right. And then I flip it like this to get the skinny part, and I just blend that up. Now to blend this out, I kind of use this brush. It's slanted, but it's like a circle, and I just dab it in. Make sure you stay on this track because you don't want to put the concealer everywhere and take away from the whole point of contouring your nose. After you blend out with your brush, I just use a beauty blender to really even it all out. And this is what we're looking like so far. We're almost done. We're getting to the powders and the finishing touches. Don't worry. I know this has been going on for like forever, but it's worth it to have your makeup done. I don't like to bake for too long, because when you bake for too long, the powder kind of starts to like thicken and like leave like a really ugly white cast. So almost forgot, you also want to take your powder puff and put powder on where you put concealer on your nose. Sorry, I almost forgot that, yeah. The next powder I use to kind of finish mattifying my base is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop mattifying powder. As you can tell, me and her been locked in because we hit the pan long ago. So, and she's breaking. But yeah, I just dipped this in because this doesn't leave any white cast. It's perfect for just mattifying, like y'all are about to see. Ready? You see how it looks like glossy? After you put this powder on, you can see the difference in like the glare. And that's why I use it all over my face, to really get that matte finish. My forehead, literally everywhere, under my eyes. Like, it's like perfect for like your whole face. Like, I'm so serious. Oof. And yeah. And then just brush off anything. And this is what we're looking like right now. If you like more powder, that's up to you. You can always tweak everything to your liking. It's cool. So I go in with my bronzer. And like I showed you guys, I believe in my previous video, I used the Kylie Cosmetics bronzer in the shade Tanned and Gorgeous. Now, I kind of just move up as well, and I go right under my blush. So I'm not taking away from the color of my blush, but I'm still defining where my contour was. I go on my chin. This really just helps give you color on your face. And then I go in with my nose brush one more time and really accentuate my nose contour. Make sure you're not putting not too much. You don't look like a drag queen, but just enough so you get that beautiful like nose contour look. Now I go in with whatever powder blush I'm using, and I use one by the ColourPop blush in the shade Papaya. I use a very light amount. I'm not really a blush girly like that, so I just glide it over just to kind of refresh the blush. Puts a little bit over it just to kind of accentuate the cream blush from earlier. Now give me a second so I can get everything organized and we can work on our finishing touches for our makeup. Alright, yeah, I'm back. I do my lip liner at this point because when I put my setting spray, it's gonna help like kind of help it stay in place and last longer. You can work on your lip liner. That's all you. However you want to do yours is how you do yours. Now I do my mascara, and I use the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal, and I put it on my bottom lashes. I love bottom lashes, so I put a lot of mascara because while I don't like eyeliner, I feel like if I put just the right amount of mascara, it gives me the same effect, but just a little bit less. Boom. And if you get like mascara under your eyelid, the trick I love to use is that let it dry and then take a spoolie and scratch it off, because it's not gonna damage your concealer and it's gonna make sure it gets it off. When you rush when it's wet and you take a Q-tip or anything, or you take it off really quick, it's gonna mess up your makeup and you're gonna be pissed. At this point, you can add your highlighters, anything, because this is right before I set my face. I use this Ofra palette that I've had for like years, since I first started doing makeup. Take like a tiny pointy brush in this color, and I just put it right here in my inner corner. I don't like a lot of highlight, so yeah. There you go. And this is what we're looking like before we set. The setting spray I use is controversial. I know a lot of people have issues with it because the spray is white, but you have to really make sure you shake it. And it's the Urban Decay All Nighter. When I tell you my makeup stays, like before, when I used to like hug my boyfriend and stuff and I had makeup on, my makeup would transfer over to his hoodies all the time. And ever since I started using this, like last time I saw him, it wasn't doing that. So I was like, it's working. I don't know who said it, but it's gonna stay because it's Urban Decay. Hello. And the test I like to do to make sure that it doesn't look white on my face, I just spray it on my hand, and you're in the clear. Really spray as much as you want, because the more you spray, the more it's gonna stay on. And the last step is gonna be our lip combo. Now this is the lip combos that I kind of interchange between, and it's the NYX Butter Gloss in Sugar High. Sometimes I want to use Sugar High, sometimes I use a Creme Brulee because it's like a bubblegum color. But I've recently been loving mixing Sugar High and this really light pink color by, who's it by? Oh, L'Oreal. And it's in the shade, I don't know, it doesn't tell me. Yeah, I don't know what shade it is, but I think it was like Pretty Pink or something. And I like mixing these because this gives me like, this is too white, so this kind of evens it out and gives me the perfect shade that I'm looking for. So I use this one. I'm not a big fan of the applicator, but you can see what I mean, like it's really light. But then once I go in with my Sugar High, it just evens out the two tones for me. That is it. The only other time I change up the way I do my base is when I either want to do an eyeshadow, I want to go for a darker eye. If I don't want to do a full glam, I change it up here and then. So I definitely want to do more makeup videos moving forward, so I can show you guys all the different makeup that I do. But this is my go-to base makeup. And it really doesn't take me that long to do. I mean, the video is pretty long, but that's mostly because I was explaining, but yeah. And I'm going to get a close-up so you guys can see. Makeup is going to look like makeup at the end of the day. But my base is always really seamless and just looks really good up close too. That was it. I'm gonna do like a little camo shot. Ready? Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you out in any way, shape, or form. I hope that you guys can take my tips, and if you do, let me know. Definitely try out my makeup routine. I would love to see how it works on other people. whether it works for you, if it doesn't work for you, what changes did you make to it. I love you guys all, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.